yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sir Martínez, maestro en la casa. Blazer High School, room 206.
You know, what can a single piece of paper from a high school Spanish class actually tell us about the future of education? It might surprise you. Today, we're going to put one seemingly ordinary school assignment under the microscope and see what it reveals about how students are learning right now. Okay, so here it is. This is our case study. It's a Spanish project sheet from Blazer High School for the class of 2026. Now, on the surface, it looks pretty straightforward, right? Students are just being asked to write about their goals for the new year. But the real story? Well, that's hidden in the details. So that's the big question we're digging into. What can one assignment from one class really show us about where education is headed? Turns out, a whole lot. This single piece of paper is basically a blueprint for a major shift in how we even think about learning.
And our first clue is hiding in plain sight, right at the top of the page. See those three letters, PBL? That stands for project-based learning, and it's the core idea driving this entire assignment. So what exactly does that even mean?
Well, essentially, with project-based learning, the project isn't just some fun little activity you do at the end of a chapter. No, the project is the chapter. The students are learning by doing, by wrestling with a complex task over a longer period of time. The whole point is to connect it to the real world and make the work feel meaningful to them personally.
And this little comparison really shows you just how different this is from the way many of us probably learned. Traditional learning, that was all about memorizing facts, the teacher was in charge, and everything led up to a big final exam. Project-based learning totally flips that script. It's all about applying what you know, letting the students take the lead, and then showing what you learned through a final project.
Okay, so with that big idea in mind, let's zoom back in on the assignment itself. What's the student's mission here? What are they actually being asked to do?
The mission has these 4 pretty clear steps. First, they have to choose 5 personal goals. That's the personally meaningful part we talked about. Second, write about them in Spanish using a very specific formula. Third, design a visual poster. And fourth, share that work with the whole class. You can already see how each step requires a totally different skill. And this is where we get to a really key insight. This assignment isn't just about one subject. It's a deliberate mashup of language, art, and technology. You can say it's interdisciplinary by design. So let's start with the language part. The assignment gives a really clear example sentence. En este 2026, voy a aprender 5 palabras en español todos los días, which basically translates to, in 2026, I am going to learn 5 new Spanish words every day. This is the core language requirement. The student has to get the hang of this specific grammar structure to talk about the future.
And this just perfectly shows the PBL approach to grammar. Instead of just memorizing a bunch of abstract verb charts, students get a functional formula, voy a plus an action word. It's a tool they can immediately use to talk about their own plans for the future. Suddenly grammar becomes practical, not just theoretical. Then you've got the creative part. I mean, look at the toolkit students are encouraged to use. You have modern digital design tools like Canva and Google Slides, but it also allows for old school stuff like a display board. The assignment is teaching digital literacy and visual communication right alongside the Spanish.
Okay, so we know what the students have to do, but if you really want to understand what an assignment values, you have to look at how it's graded, the rubric that always tells the real story.
And this, right here, is where it gets really interesting. Take a look at this grade breakdown. Creativity is worth 25%. Okay, the correct use of Spanish grammar, also 25%. But the presentation, how they actually share their work, that's worth a massive 50% of the grade.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. Half of the entire grade for the Spanish project has absolutely nothing to do with Spanish grammar. What this tells us is that the project values the ability to share an idea just as much as the idea itself. The big emphasis here is on communication.
And the definition of presentation here is super modern and flexible. Sure, students can give a classic report in front of the class, but they can also make a video, an audio recording, or, get this, even a TikTok. It's an acknowledgement that in the 21st century, communicating effectively takes a lot of different forms.
All right, so let's pull back and connect all the dots. When you put all these pieces together, the student-led goals, the mix of tech and art, and that really surprising grading rubric, what you see is a lesson that goes way beyond a simple language assignment.
This single project is actually designed to teach a whole set of skills that are incredibly valuable in almost any career. We're talking public speaking, digital literacy, creative design, personal goal setting, and even some basic project management. All of that is baked right into the assignment's DNA. It's like the hidden curriculum.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. If a Spanish project values a TikTok presentation just as much as it values grammar, what is it really teaching? It seems like the answer is pretty clear. It's teaching students how to learn, how to create, and how to communicate in the world they are actually going to live and work in. And that, well, that might be the most important lesson of all.
Sir Martínez, maestro en la casa. Laser High School, room 206. Ashland, Kentucky, no hay quien me aplasta. Clase de español, planes asiste.